Hello and welcome everybody to episode 112 of the GVGCast. Sorry, it's hot. I'm in LA. It's hot. I'm just out of it. Happy Friday, everybody. I am joined today by my amazing Good Vibes Gaming partner and co-founder and everything. I'm sorry, I'm so out of it today. Derek Bittner, how you doing, man?
Partner.
Lover, partner, yeah.
You name it.
Yeah. How's it going,
Stop.
Sorry, I am so
I'm
out of
doing
it over
good.
here. I was mentioning earlier, about 45 minutes before showtime, I started getting shaky, really nauseous, bad stomach ache, and I think it's just because of the heat. It is hot. Our air conditioner is not up to the job. I've got this dinky little fan going next to me, and it's hot and sweaty, and I'm just out of it.
Yeah, I've been staying inside a lot. Unfortunately, we have a decent air conditioner, thank God, because my
Yes.
God, is the heat's been ridiculous. And I'm not in LA, so I imagine LA's worse.
It has been pretty brutal. It's been like in the 90s all week, and we've been opening all our windows just to get some airflow because our AC just isn't up to the task. Our fridge isn't able to produce ice fast enough. It's just it's hot, and you know
That
me, I don't
that
like the heat.
That brings me back to my time in my apartment where there was no central air. I had to rely on a uh, window AC unit that
Hmm.
really didn't like. It was basically removed the worst of it, but it was still not enough. Like you never felt
Yeah.
cool. It was just like, okay, this is tolerable. But the worst part is that it was loud. So anytime I had to record anything
Oh
or
yeah.
do a stream,
Yeah.
that thing had to be off. And oh my God, I'd be drenched in sweat by the end of it.
Yeah, no, what's funny is we do have central air, thankfully, but I think everybody just running their air conditioner so much that it's probably just getting overtaxed, and that's why it's not. I put in a work order. Hopefully, it'll get a little better because we're not really anywhere close to the end of summer here in LA yet. We still got a couple of months to go. And thank you for your concern, everybody in our chat. I'm fine. I'm not going to pass out on camera. I think no, I'm not going to pass out. I'm feeling much better than I did 45 minutes ago, so I'm a little mentally just out of it because it's so hot, but I promise I'm doing fine. I wouldn't be here on the show if I didn't think I could make it. So appreciate your concern, but I am okay. Really quick, as usual, we've got some patron birthday shout outs this week. Happy belated birthday to Feeling Dreepy, who celebrated theirs on Tuesday the 14th. Nerd Consultant, who celebrated theirs yesterday, Thursday the 15th, and Lord Clump, whose birthday is, in fact, today. So happy
Ooh,
birthday to all three of you.
happy birthday.
Yeah, hope you had a lovely time with your friends and family, played lots of video games, and ate lots of great food and all that
Mm,
good
get
stuff.
that cake.
Yeah, exactly. Although I'm more of an ice cream man myself, not that I get to eat it right now because it'd melt in about a second. But yeah, but how you doing, man? How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Just trying to the usual stay on top of things, but it's been good. I'm feeling pretty solid on how things are developing, all that stuff. Just trying to keep on top of everything. Um, not. Let's. I've been going back and forth. Should I mention this or not? But I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go into proud dad mode a little bit here
Do it,
because
do it.
Kai's 3 now, gonna be turning 4 in November, and he's definitely talking a bit more. Not he's a bit more coherent, but he's definitely a little bit behind when it comes to fully talking for his age.
Nice.
But he's getting there. He's definitely developing more and communicating better and all that good stuff. But he is so freaking smart. He knows his letters. He knows the difference between capital and lowercase. He knows
Nice.
he can count from 1 to 100, and then from 100 in the 100th place, from 100 to 1,000, and 1,000 to
Wow.
10,000.
Really? That's
Uh,
so cool.
yeah, he just knows it. So he just connects on it, whatnot, and he's getting close to being able to read. Like we have like flashcards from the other kids that he just will get out and can read it. Like we just hold up a word like in, and he knows it's in or out or what have you. And
Wow.
there's no like picture indication, but then there's pictures indication. He can say that as well. It's like, holy crap, kid. Like I was writing something today on my laptop while he was around, and he came over and was interested. And I sort of, he's wanted to play with the letters, wanted to play with the numbers, but then I showed him like, here's how you get capital letters. Here you got how you get lowercase letters and so forth. And he started figuring out the keyboard. Like
What?
he knew to figure out backspace and all that. He'd put the wrong letter in by accident. And he'd like figure out that backspace was because I was correcting some of the things he was doing. So it's like, oh my god, this
That's
kid.
so cool. I mean, you've got to be obviously you were incredibly proud of him.
Oh yeah, he's. I mean, it's cool to see him just develop like that. It's the fun part of the father aspect. Now, what I do need to get him to really get into, and he knows how to do it, but he is lazy. I think it's only
Really?
that pure laziness. He knows how to go potty. He
Uh-huh.
knows how to get on the toilet, go potty, but he gets so caught up in what he's doing that he doesn't want to stop. So now it's the question of, okay,
Okay.
do we start putting him in just regular underwear so he actually has to pee his pants and realizes, oh, this sucks. I want to go to the potty, or get pull-ups to sort of transition into that, or something. Like it's one of those things. Is like, what do we do here? Because obviously we don't want him peeing everywhere, but
Right.
he needs to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh, I love it.
trying to get him there, but yeah, it's yeah, he's he has his highs, he has his lows, but otherwise he's good.
I know I'm
I
preaching to
haven't
the
I haven't
choir
talked about it in
here.
a while.
Well, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but it just goes so fast. I can't believe how fast time goes. Like,
Yeah.
my God. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's even more so when you have a kid. But like, it's just it seems like he's growing up so fast, and I'm saying that from the outside looking in.
Yeah, it's strange, especially because when you consider like I can track how old GVG is by his
Yeah,
age.
yeah, for
So
sure.
that's yeah.
Well, it's been
That's a weird thing.
it's been a
But you though,
little
yeah.
crazy. It's been a little crazy on my end. I'm leaving for Gamescom in 2 days, so I've had to
Ooh.
just I don't really feel like I'm mentally prepared because it's not really just Gamescom. It's Gamescom, and then 4 days after I get back from that, PAX West. So I'm really getting geared up for about two
I
weeks
didn't
of.
realize they were so close to each other.
I
That's
didn't
crazy.
either, only because I've never been to Gamescom before. So normally I'm just getting ready for PAX West, and it's 5 days in Seattle, and that's it. But this year for me, it's a week in Germany, Cologne to be specific, and then another 5 days in Seattle. Thankfully, there's like a 4 day period between that I come home and can rest and be with my wife. Because I certainly wouldn't want to be on the road for 2 weeks straight without her. That would suck. So as much as I'm looking forward to both, of course, and especially Gamescom because I've always wanted to go, I just don't feel mentally prepared for this like 2 weeks coming up. Because I'm leaving Sunday afternoon, and I got to tomorrow I'm getting packed. Ran a bunch of errands today. I gotta go get a full new round of groceries for my wife because she's still dealing with her knee injury. So I got to make sure she's set up with groceries. I got a haircut, as you can maybe tell. Maybe it's a little bit too short, but my hair grows so fast
Yeah, it
that
looks
I
fine.
wanted to give it time to grow in, and it was getting too shaggy, and it's too hot to have shaggy hair, and I don't like the way shaggy hair looks on me anyway. So I was like, I need to get this haircut done before I go to Cologne. But I'm excited. I mean, I'm gonna be hanging out with John for a whole week and covering Gamescom with him, and we've already got a bunch of appointments lined up. We're gonna play some stuff together. We're going to Gamescom opening night live together. We're gonna be in the audience, so I'm sure some of the home team will be doing a live reaction stream for ONL, but hopefully you'll see us in the audience while you're reacting because that'll be really cool. I'm crossing my fingers. Maybe we'll get the first Sonic 3 trailer there. That'd be pretty neat to be in the audience for the debut of the first Sonic 3 trailer. Um, and then and then Seattle's after that. I guess I can now take this chance to announce to everyone watching, if you are going to be at PAX West, we got approved for the community room again, so we're going to be doing an official GVG community meetup in the official PAX community room on Saturday from 1 to 2:30 p.m. We'll be doing meet and greets and swag giveaways and playing Smash and Mario Kart together and just having a good time. So if you can swing by, definitely do. And it goes without saying, if you're going to be at Gamescom, please, if you see me or John, say hi. We want to meet all of you that we can. So,
Got to go to
yeah,
What's That Track Live.
exactly. And yeah, and we're doing What's That Track live, which is going to be on Saturday. The time escapes me at the moment. I want to say it's 2 p.m. Definitely check the program. But yeah, John and I will be hosting a live edition of What's That Track at Gamescom. It's going to be so fun. And don't worry, they are recording it for us, so we'll be able to put it up on the channel after the fact. So those of you who can't make it to Gamescom, you will see it eventually. And yeah, so I'm just trying to get myself mentally just pumped up for this next 2 weeks because it's going to be busy for sure. And yeah, otherwise, I'm just trying to keep up with work and meaning both GVG and otherwise. Playing what games I can in the time that I have. I've mainly, as I think I mentioned last week, I've restarted playing Octopath Traveler 2, just chipping away at it a little bit at a time. It's going to be months before I finish it, but I did decided to start back over since I dropped it for over like a year. And I kind of wanted to get reacquainted with the world and the characters and their stories. So I'm currently going around and doing every character's chapter 1. But there's one I have to mention, and if you follow me on Twitter, you've already seen me talk about this. But I had forgotten, and this is only for chapter 1, so don't worry, I'm not like spoiling anything major. But I had forgotten how hilariously and absurdly over the top dark Throne's first scene is in her chapter 1 story. And for those of you who don't know, it takes place in an alley where these two bandits or thugs or whatever you want to call them, they've got this puppy cornered, and this cute little baby puppy, and they're like, "Oh, what's wrong, little doggy? Like, don't make such a fuss. We're only going to test out our new knives on you or our new swords on you. We're just going to gut you." And it's so comically dark. And then, of course, your main character, comes on the screen, and then you get a dialogue box saying, "Save the puppy? Yes, no." Like, that sends me every time. What kind of psychopath would say no to that dialogue prompt? But it's also just so stupidly and comically dark to begin with. And I had completely forgotten about it, and it got a good laugh out of me again, being reminded of how her story starts. But otherwise, I've just been hanging out with my wife and just kind of trying to spend as much time with her as I can before I leave. And playing some Octopath 2 on the side and looking forward to the deluge of everything coming. Emio, Astrobot, Visions of Mana,
so
Zelda, Super Mario Party Jamboree,
I'm
Mario
trying not to
Luigi.
think of it honestly.
I know.
It's so much, especially because I haven't played a lot just for fun on my own time in a while, just because I've been so busy with other things that I don't want to. Like, it's hard for me to commit because it's like I play something for fun. It's like I could be working. I could be doing this thing right now.
Yeah.
It's one of those nagging thoughts that get into your head that maybe I should be doing this. But I don't know. I got the RPG itch again because my Twitch chat had me play the demo for Trails Through Daybreak, which is my first experience with the Trail series.
Oh, nice.
I don't think you've touched it either. It's the latest one that was released in the States.
Yeah.
And the start of a new arc, I guess it's referred to. Because it's like this is the fourth major arc that's telling an overall story. It's crazy. There's a lot to Trails. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
It is one of the most dense RPGs out there, but it was a lot of fun for being so ostensibly dense. It has a good hook to it, where it starts out with almost like a pseudo drug deal going bad. It's not a drug deal; it's just an exchange. Goes bad, and your main character is like a guy, the hard-boiled detective that works beneath the law, kind of. You got this mystery woman that's looking for the thing that was part of the deal. You're going for it. There's a murder. Like it's like, oh, it's actually a pretty decent setup.
Yeah.
Which it has me intrigued. But, and I know you're the same as me, it's the 11th game in a series. I'm not starting with this game. I'm going to go back to number 1, especially because it is so story-based. So it's cool to see. Not getting that for a long time, even though I decided to start playing Trails now.
And those games are so dense, man. I've only played one of them, and I don't know where this falls in the chronology, but the only one I ever played was the original The Legend of Heroes back on the PSP. And I don't know which one that is.
Is it Trails in the Sky?
No, it was even before Trails in the Sky. It was just, they was localized. The title is just The Legend of Heroes, and I don't even know which one it is.
That's not even part of the Trails series then. It's just a
Right.
Legend of Heroes beforehand. So that's
It's not
wow.
even. It might have been one of the Cold Steel games before they were called that. I don't really know. Oh, it's not part of the Trails. Oh, I thought it was at least adjacent to it. Okay.
Well,
Thanks for the
the Trails
correction.
series is a spinoff of the Legend of Heroes. Like
That's
you got the
right.
series
Okay.
before it became that because it is the Legend
Yeah.
of Heroes Trails whatever.
That's right. And then yeah, and even that game was super dense and I never finished it. And I've just heard that all of these games are really rewarding if you put in the time to play through them all in chronological order, but each one is like what, like 100 hours if you do everything?
The, yeah, there is new dialogue for every NPC that you have available
Yeah.
after every major sequence.
Yeah. That's kind
It is
weirdly enough, Mega Man Battle
ridiculous in
Network
that way.
does that as well. And
Oh
I
wow.
would never go and seek out all that new dialogue again if I, ever replay the series again. But as a teen, when I played it, after every major event, I would go back and talk to every NPC, and it took so much time.
Was it worthwhile? Or was it just sort of minor?
Generally worthwhile because it felt like the world was living and breathing. It felt cool to have all these NPCs react to every major event in the game because it makes the world feel more alive, right? Feel more lived in
Right,
and
right.
realistic. So
The,
yeah.
the craziest thing I encountered was there's a point in the and this is just a prologue, um, where you're trying to figure out where this guy might have gone to a hideout, which
Mm.
hideout he might have went to. He has several across the city, and there's three options. And I was informed that there actually is a clue to which one he might have gone to, and it was in a newspaper that I bought because it just said like, oh, there's a weird newspaper type thing, and I'm used to it being like 6 lines of dialogue as far as like a video game newspaper is concerned.
Yeah.
I go to open it up. It's a 6-page document going over politics, history, advertisements. I'm like, what in the hell? I didn't read it at all,
Yeah.
but it helps you determine, give you clues to where he might have actually gone. Thankfully, I guessed right, but it also affects like other things where you have certain bonuses later on if you do better with those selections. As a
Right.
detective, is like, oh, okay, they're rewarding you for getting into this stuff. It's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is ridiculous.
That's really, really cool. It's one of those pie in the sky things where I know on paper I would love to play all those games, but I just know realistically it's probably not going to happen with the time sink it would require. I mean, when it
Yeah.
takes me, it took me like 4.5 months just to finish Xenoblade 3, and that's one game. And obviously
Mhm.
worth every single second. One of my favorite games of all time, but imagine that times what? 10, 11? Like
I
it's just
mean,
not going to happen.
it took me twice what you did for Xenoblade 3 for me to finish Xenoblade 3. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Um,
just one of those things.
by the way, speaking of how like busy and all the travel that we've got coming up, I'll be joining both Daniel and Steve at PAX West after I'm with John and Gamescom. But I got to shout out Daniel, who is once again running the show behind the scenes. He's still working on recovering his voice after he strained it too much. So certainly clap for him behind the scenes. But he also got to take a trip this week. He got to go to New York to play Metaphor ReFantagio. And of course, I can't talk about it. The preview's under embargo. So, he'll have a video up with the embargo lifts. I can't talk about what he saw or did or played within the demo, but he got to go to New York on Atlas's dime to play Metaphor ReFantagio, and I was just so happy for him because I know he's really been struggling with his voice and everything. So I'm glad he got to have a couple of days of just fun and playing this game that I know he's super excited about. So,
Those are the best
uh,
trips.
oh, that right. You did that for Sushi Strikers, right?
Yeah, that was the one time it was the two I got to go up to New York on Nintendo's dime was Sushi Strikers and when they showed off their 2DS lineup when they were showing off like freaking oh what's it called? The it's
The
the one that's like kind of mono like it was like around the time of Hey Pikmin and it was like gosh,
oh
it's
man.
like a desert
Oh, I know which
setting.
one you're talking about. I
Um
know which one you're talking about, and it's barely escaping me. I know somebody in our chat will know. Ever Oasis, that's it, right?
Ever Oasis, thank you.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, it was killing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was around the time Ever Oasis was coming out, and they had this big thing. They put me in the nicest hotel I've ever been in my life for
Yeah.
Ever Oasis, the 2DS. I think the 2DS XL was what it was actually was. It was just the minorest of
Right.
updates, and Hey Pikmin. I'm like, Okay, thanks.
Yeah. I got to do that for the Switch's launch, or not launch, reveal event, which was really cool. And Steve and I actually met in New York at the Switch reveal event when we were working for the old place. And we didn't even know each other at the time, so we didn't know that we had actually realized or that we had actually met then because we just didn't know each other at the time. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, like you said, one of the nicest hotels I've ever stayed in. So it's a lot of fun, and I'm so glad Daniel got to have that experience.
He also got to do the other tradition I had anytime I went to New York. Go to the Nintendo World Store.
Oh yeah,
I,
right. He
I
did.
yeah, I got him. I got myself a new Evolution plush every time I went there. Didn't get enough to get all of them, but I got a decent amount.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know what he picked up there this year, and I don't remember what I got there. I think I just got a T-shirt or something. But it's just fun to go look at the cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun things to see there. See the selection. I never bought a game there. I don't think I ever bought a T-shirt there. It's mainly the plushes. That's where I sort of gravitated towards because
Oh,
there's so many.
there are so many.
There's so
Yeah.
many.
Yeah, if you've ever been, you got to go to the Nintendo New York store if you ever get a chance to. And I think they're opening one up next year in San Francisco, so a little bit closer to my neck of the woods. Certainly much closer to Daniel's. But you know what? Speaking of Nintendo, let's talk a little bit of news from the week. And I guess we've gotten to the age where we're doing character reveal trailers for Mario Party now. And I guess this is because Super Mario Party Jamboree is gonna have it has that 20-player mode. So I guess it makes sense that there's going to be a bigger roster of characters, and now we're getting to doing character reveal trailers for Mario Party games. And today, Nintendo revealed that Birdo, Boo, Goomba, Monty Mole, Peach, and Toad are all going to be playable. R.I.P. Mario and Luigi, obviously. But what's weird to me is that they led with Birdo, Boo, Goomba, and Monty Mole, and then just kind of threw in, oh yeah, but Peach and Toad are back. Don't worry,
I
Peach is
mean,
also in.
Peach and Toad were the ones I was most worried about not being in the game. I
Yeah,
gotta be honest. I was like, thank God.
right. So
Um,
I mean, it's cool. I like it's obviously doesn't carry anywhere near the same weight as a Smash character reveal trailer because the characters all play the same. They're just skins. But I guess it's kind of cool that they're trying to hype this up
I
Smash
don't think they
style a
have
little
the
bit.
unique dice this time around, do they?
I
I
don't
don't think that's a thing this time around.
I don't think so. And as Azran points out, does that even count as a trailer? Because every character they think was visible in the real reveal trailer. Maybe there are secret ones they haven't shown yet. But I agree. I
Maybe.
don't know really what the
You know
point
if I
is in
saw
doing
Goomba,
a.
but Goomba was my main in the original Super Mario Party, so
Okay. Yeah.
just because I love the ridiculous of playing as a Goomba.
Yeah. I just kind of hope that yeah, as I've said before, and I've made this so clear as a position of mine, the single most disrespected character in the history of Nintendo is in fact Dixie Kong, and she didn't get into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Peachette freaking got in over her. Put Diddy and Dixie in Jamboree. Come on, Nintendo. You know you want to do
Diddy
it.
would
Give
be there.
Dixie.
Dixie,
Yeah.
not so sure.
I hope Pauline's in. Pauline feels like she should be in. She probably will.
Pauline will be in there. Yeah,
Yeah, but man,
that feels all but a guarantee.
just give Dixie her day in the sun, man. It's just past time. But also on the Nintendo front, and going from something really it's Super Mario Party, fun and light and. Then there's on the other end of things, extremely on the other end, is Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club, and it's going to get a multi-part demo. We're going to get to play multiple opening chapters of the game before the full game releases later this month.
How
Are
big
you?
is this game that they feel confident enough that they can do this? Because
Yeah,
you get, I guess, the prologue chapter on the 19th.
yeah.
Then you get two more chapters on the 22nd and 27th.
Which that alone tells me, or at least suggests to me, that this is going to be at least a little longer, or somewhat longer than the other two FTC games. Because I mean, Steve and I reviewed them, and they were like 10ish, 8 to 10 hours each. And I don't remember the opening of the one I played being particularly long. So, like you said, the fact that they feel like they can release multiple chapters in this demo, with a staggered release dates, and still have enough content for the full game for players to enjoy, seems like this is going to be a bit beefier than the other two.
Yeah, especially since the progress carries over.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like any good demo, the progress carries over to the full game. And it's pretty wild what we're looking at in terms of content here. So, everyone loves the ESRB and their wild ratings descriptions. And I'm looking at Emio's right now. And just so y'all know what you're getting into before you play this, and the ones that Steve and I played were, kind of dark. There's definitely some grisly stuff, some blood, some dead bodies. But in this one, some cutscenes depict, and I quote, instances of violence, a father slapping his children, characters strangled, a human corpse hanging from a tie, a man using scissors to slice his face. Some scenes depict corpses lying in pools or trails of blood, plot points dealing with child abuse, murder, teen suicide, and self-harm, and the word shit appears in the game. That's the last part. The last sentence is the word shit appears in the game. So Nintendo's going places with this one, man.
Yeah, Sakamoto's cooking. That's
Yeah.
that seems like a major step up in content.
It really does, because I don't recall, at least when I played, the girl who stands behind, like I said, there was blood, but I don't recall anything so intense as the stuff I just listed off in that game.
Yeah, I mean, they're going for it, which, you know what? I'm glad. I'm happy
Yeah.
that they don't feel limited like this. It's just like, yeah, we're a Nintendo game, but this is the content we feel is like this is how we want to tell this story. This is the type of story we're telling, and based on the colors, based on the creepiness of the smiling man,
Yeah.
yeah, this seems appropriate.
And in this case, I know we like to make fun of ESRB's goofy ratings paragraphs, but in this case, I feel like a lot of these themes could be triggering for people who have dealt with that stuff in real life. So it's good that we know going in what the major overarching themes are that this game deals with, because that could prove problematic to some people if they're not ready for it, right? So good that we know about this going in. Personally, I really enjoyed The Girl Who Stands Behind. I will definitely be checking out the demo of Emio. I didn't play. I played like the first probably 3 hours of the one Steve reviewed, which was The Missing Heir, but I liked what I played of it. So, and this one seems really dark and creepy. I know you and I are both big horror fans, so sign me up. I'm definitely at least going to play the demo.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to check it out because just it seems interesting. Like this is, I still think that Emio had a great hook for it. It might have turned some people off when they were hoping for something a little bit more traditional survival horror type aspect or just pure horror.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Certain visual novels can definitely get creepy. You might be surprised how much how effective this is.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, I'm very much looking forward to being pulled in, and this is definitely the kind of game I would want to play, with the lights off, maybe with headphones on, unless it was something my wife and I played together. Yeah, I want to set the mood. Like, that's how I always played the Silent Hill games, and yeah, you got to properly set the mood when you're playing a horror game, unless you just can't handle it, which I totally understand. Steve is not a fan. He's like, nope, I'm too scared. I can't do it, and he's like, I fully admit it. So obviously there is something that we really have to talk about. It isn't often, unfortunately, in modern gaming news, it isn't often that we get positive stories with happy endings, right? There are so often sad stories about, mass layoffs and, people studios getting shut down way before their time. And as we all know, this just happened to the wildly talented Tango Gameworks like 2 months ago. I don't even know. Time is weird now, but it's like a month ago, 2 months ago. But in a really lovely twist, a happy ending twist, Tango Gameworks has been revived by PUBG publisher Krafton, and they've already gone out and said they have plans to expand the Hi-Fi Rush IP. The game's cinematics director is already back, and about half of Tango's former staff, or 50 people, have been rehired on as Krafton's Japan subsidiary, with Tango Gameworks now being Krafton's Japan subsidiary. And just saying this out loud is giving me goosebumps. Like, this never happens, man.
No, this is, you do not get happy endings like this.
This never
at
happens.
all.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. It's going to be a while until we see any kind of result from this. But man, do I want this Hi-Fi Rush 2 to be just a massive success.
Me too. I could not be happier. This is just unprecedented. Happy endings never happen in this industry. And they seem to be making all the right moves. They've already come out and said, no, we want them to make more Hi-Fi Rush. We're bringing back the original team. This isn't just Tango in name only. We are actually doing the damn thing, and I just could not be happier. As you know, Hi-Fi Rush was one of my favorite games of last year. And when Xbox announced they were shuttering the studio right after it received so many awards, and mainly in response to them wanting a bigger budget for Hi-Fi Rush 2, I'm just like, what is actually wrong with you? You have such a bona fide hit on your hands, and this should have been or could have been a pillar of Xbox's franchises, and
Well,
yet
the
here we
crazy
are.
thing is look at there's been a bunch of games lately that seem relative, like not huge profile, but relatively like mid profile at least, that Microsoft is just not getting. They're
Yeah,
just skipping over Microsoft and who knows about that? But honestly, the whole story reminds me of um, when SNK went under because of new
right.
management screwed them over, sold them
Yeah,
for parts because of the whole pachinko thing, and then the original person who ran SNK started a new company, bought up all the IP of SNK, and rebranded it SNK Playmore before eventually getting it to just core SNK again. Not quite the same way because that'd be if like Tango Gameworks originator did that, but they got saved by somebody else. But similar enough. But yeah, that's that's crazy when that sort of stuff happens. That something seems dead, gone, forgotten, and a Hail Mary actually comes in, rescues it,
yeah.
and can certainly enjoy where it goes from there. And I mean, SNK's had its ups and downs, but honestly, I'd say it's in a pretty good place right now.
Yeah, with Fatal Fury coming up, which I just played at Summer Game Fest, and it felt and looked really great. I think it's also going to be at Gamescom, so I'll get a chance to check it out again. But yeah, they're in a good place, and I guess the only slight downside to this, and I don't really even consider it a big one, just because of my own personal preferences, but Microsoft are retaining the rights to the Evil Within and the Ghostwire Tokyo IPs. So
I
this is just
figured
Hi-Fi
that.
Rush, yeah. So they are keeping those. And I do, obviously, I feel bad for the Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo fans out there, but selfishly, the fact that Tango keeps Hi-Fi Rush is what I care about, and that
I,
we're
I
gonna get to
I
go
don't
back to
know
this
much about
world.
yeah, I don't know much about Ghostwire Tokyo, but I have heard like Microsoft was very pushy about Evil
Hmm.
Within basically being like they wanted their own Resident Evil 4,
Yeah,
and it was apparently just kind of okay, but Evil Within 2 apparently is really good.
I've heard that it is. I've heard mixed things about Ghostwire Tokyo, but generally favorable, I would say.
Yeah. So
But
I think if they get to work on something they're passionate about
yeah,
rather than being like a mandate, it'll work out.
yeah, I mean, and clearly they already, wanted to make Hi-Fi Rush 2 before, Microsoft shut them down. So seems like they're getting to work on what they want to work on. And, that probably also means that a port for the Switch 2 is on the table, I would imagine, the original game, a
Oh yeah.
sequel. Azran here theorizing about a theoretical future animated series. An animated Hi-Fi Rush series would be so cool. I'm trying not to get too hopes,
Yeah,
pie in the
I'm
sky
not
hopes, but that would be so
I'm
cool.
happy with just another game.
Yeah, yeah,
I haven't even played the
exactly.
first, but it's one of those things where I've seen enough of it plays like, yeah, this is the game that deserves to be saved.
Right, right. So yeah, of course, there was no way I was not going to mention that this week, because it's just a rare example of a story having a happy twist ending in the game industry. And then let's just round things out by just mentioning a couple of games that we're both really excited for getting release dates. Well, one potential release date, one other confirmed. The Plucky Squire is coming out September 17th, 1 week directly after my birthday, and I
The
could
day
not be more.
of my
And the day of
birthday.
my birthday, so which is perfect.
Happy birthday to me. Yeah, no, this looks phenomenal. I've heard of obviously Steve had his preview come up
Yeah,
and raving about it. Everybody's played it, has been raving about it. It's a
so
really
excited.
good game. So I'm looking forward to checking out the full release because it is just so delightful. How do you not
Man,
fall in love with this?
did you watch the launch date trailer?
I did not because I'm like at the point where I'm like, I think I'm just gonna get it, so I don't think I
No, it
need to
makes
watch it.
sense. The only reason I ask is because the way the trailer reveals the actual date is really cute, because it has Jot, the main
Oh,
character, like picking up and throwing different like letters, like month names and numbers, and like picking them and throwing them in different configurations. And at first, it looks like it's going to be 2025, but then it rearranges and becomes September 17th, 2024. It's really cute. And man, does that trailer just reinforce that this game looks just mind-blowingly great. And as you were saying, Steve's preview went up today. If you haven't watched it yet, certainly check it out on the channel later. He loves it. He played about half the game, and he absolutely loves it. And I believe Brandon played it too, and he was just as glowing about it. So, I trust them both, obviously.
That has to be some confidence on the team's part of like, yeah, here's half the game to preview.
Yeah, and it's one of the games I've been most excited for since they originally released it or revealed it. And man, it is coming so soon, less than a month or about a month, and I'm just so excited. And then the other thing is, according to Shop2, this isn't officially yet, but according to Shop2, MVC Fighting Collection is coming on November 22nd, which is right about when I think I expected it. Sometime, holiday adjacent.
Yeah, holiday-ish if it's going to be this year. And from what I heard, it definitely needed some work to do. But yeah, it's great. It's a pretty decent time for it. I'm a little worried it might get lost in the shuffle at that release date, but it's gotten done
It's
really
right
well as
in,
far as
yeah.
pre-orders and stuff like that. So I think it'll be fine.
It's right in the middle of so many big deal releases, but yeah, I mean, I feel like because it's Marvel versus Capcom, it won't get lost. It's such a big deal release,
Yeah, there are people who are going to be championing this game coming out. It's not going to get lost in the shuffle.
I mean, Max Dude alone is going to be screaming from the rooftops, but so will we all, because I mean, just the fact that we're getting this collection at all is kind of a miracle in itself. And
it's my chance to fix a mistake from a long time ago.
Right. Well, like
I
as you know,
in my copy of PS2 MVC too, and I'm like, no. Why did I do that?
Yeah. Well, as you know, I previewed it at Evo like a month ago, and even in that state, it's coming along so well. So if they're already at such a good state, several months before release, I have very high hopes for the final game. And and Max Dude, whose opinion in this case means way more than mine, because he's like the fighting game expert of all experts. He was really happy with it too. So I have the utmost confidence in this game. And it's been a quiet summer, but it's about the floodgates are about to open, man. All these games are coming, and they're coming soon.
For sure.
I'm just not ready.
It's crazy how much is coming up. I'm probably not going to be able to play much, but I'm going to try to play what I can. But did you get a chance to watch Max's presentation on him and his team's Infinite and Beyond?
I haven't gotten to watch the whole presentation yet. I'm a little behind on stuff I got to watch. I shamefully have not finished the first batch of season 6 episodes of Cobra Kai either. So that tells you how behind I'm at, because it's Cobra Kai, which is like number 1 for me in terms of TV. But yeah, I've only watched bits and pieces. That's something else I need to get caught up on. I'm assuming you've watched it.
Yeah, the team definitely, like, there's still ways to go. I'd say there's definitely a good 3 to 4 months left of work that they need to do with how much they're going for. But they fixed up the UI, they changed the music, they exchanged some of the models for certain ones that are sort of unsalvageable for just putting overlays on, or to try to fix up the lighting. They made sure to have Zero, X, and Sigma be as anime as possible. They released a balance patch that people can download already that changed up some things, just minor things, but enough that those who really play Infinite will recognize the changes. It's pretty crazy, which I appreciate, because that's a game I will eventually have to play as part of my Mega Man marathon. So nice to have a better version of it. Though, of course, I don't think anything's going to be done to the story mode, and that'll be something I have to play.
That's it's so funny. That's too bad. On one hand, like, I get it, because the story mode isn't widely loved, and it probably isn't worth them remastering that, especially all those cutscenes. On the other hand, as an X fanboy, I love the story mode, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, because what they do at the end, you're going to be like, oh my god, Ash was probably exploding in real time. But what they do with X in the story mode of MVC Infinite is one of my favorite things ever that I've ever seen. As goofy as the story mode is, as nothing as it is gameplay wise compared to like Mortal Kombat story modes, as an X fanboy, they served me. and they served me well. So Bolt Mouse X knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I'll have to wait and see, as I don't want to spoil myself. It's gonna be a long time until I get to that, but it feels like that's something I'll probably remember if I did see it. But I do have to ask you.
Okay.
Since everybody's like, oh, it's possible that we'll get an MVC 4 now. That's if this does well, maybe in a few years we might actually get a new game. So the question I have for you: which Mega Man would you want? Obviously, they're going to keep Zero in there. Zero is just sort of locked in at this point.
Yeah.
But I think there's a case for multiple Mega Man, and I don't know which one they would pick because, old MVCs, we had Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, with Infinite, we had X. But with the popularity of the Battle Network collection, I could see them using .exe instead.
Why not all? Why not all of them? Put me in charge of the roster. Well, I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen. See, I'm torn because I really think Mega Man deserves to come back after being cut from MVC2. He should never have been cut. I think it's a travesty that he ever was. And I also think it would be really cool to see Mega Man EXE in the roster. I would love both of those things. But at the same time, I really want X to come back in a game that people actually love and play. I don't want X's only playable chance in Marvel vs. Capcom to be in the only game in the series no one played, relatively. I know the people who played it generally liked it from a gameplay standpoint, but everything else about it was a mess. And, X was like my dream character for this series for the longest time, and to have him be limited to only the one that nobody liked or played in a relative sense, it's just too disappointing to me. So I really hope he comes back. Personally, I think I'd have to choose X as my number one hope again for a proper MVC game that everyone loves again.
Mm-hmm. I completely get that.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the lineup, I think if I had my way, I think the way to best balance it is there's no way they're getting rid of Zero. Zero is too popular.
No.
So I know it's unfortunate, but there's our X series representation.
Yeah, it's possible.
Just like I love Mega Man Volnut. I don't think Mega Man Volnut's going to be in there because Tron is the mainstay. And I love Tron, so it's like, okay.
And they're not going to take Tron out.
No, they're definitely not going to take Tron out. So if we want more Mega Man representation, even though I have not played it, I do think Mega Man.exe would be the exciting choice.
Yeah.
And then if we want a classic character, I think it'd be really cool to get either Roll, Proto Man, or Bass.
That would be cool. And I know there'd be a case to be made for Bass EXE as well, because he's a wildly popular fan favorite character alongside Mega Man EXE. And I wonder what to do with Sigma. Do they keep Sigma? Do they cut him? He's a pretty popular character in Infinite. And they did a really good job with him. But see, that would piss me off even more though. If they had Zero and Sigma but cut X, that would just thinking about it makes me angry just thinking about it. But I also realize there's a non-zero chance it'll happen.
It's like totally you can't have too much Mega Man representation compared to because you want to get those other series in there.
No such thing. Have a rep from every single Mega Man. Put Ale or Vent from ZX in there for all I care. One rep from one at least from every series.
Here's how you get around it. You make Zero the Mega Man Zero design, and you leave Sigma in.
See, actually, that's
representation.
That's what I would prefer, actually, because you and I both agree we prefer Zero's Zero design over his X design. So I would prefer they cut X Series Zero, put in Zero Series Zero, keep X and Sigma, and then throw someone else in there like Bass or Mega Man EXE. But there is, I think, I think you're onto something, because we do also know. And as goofy as it looks, all the costumes in this game look goofy. But they did specifically add a Mega Man EXE costume to Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster that Frank gets to wear. And they know that EXE is having another moment. And so you could be onto something.
We'll see. It's going to be a while till we get it, but it's it'll be interesting to see how they feel, like where the winds blow on all that.
Yeah. Either way, I really do hope this signals life for a new MVC game, like MVC4 proper, that will hopefully get announced in the coming months or year, who knows. But it definitely seems like the series is kind of back, is off of life support and like really back in the... consciousness.
It's oddly set up for a two-pronged attack where people are picking up not only you get people interested in the collection, or I can foresee a lot of people picking up Infinite just because of Max's uh yeah, mod.
Right. I could
So
too. Yeah. That's a good
that only
point.
benefits Capcom. So
Exactly.
there you
Yeah.
go.
And Capcom is notoriously good about fan projects and not shutting that stuff down. So
Yeah.
yeah, and with Taniac, as you said in live audience chat, I absolutely would give Mega Man the Smash Fire Emblem treatment, but for MVC, and I wouldn't even apologize for it. I 100% would do that, and I wouldn't even think twice. With that said, we could talk Mega Man and Smash or in MVC all day, but we do have some patron topics to discuss. So as I say every week, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/GVGaming. And if you support us there at the producer tier or above, you can suggest topics for us to discuss each week, just like the ones we're about to talk about now. And Derek, what do you have for us this week, man?
This week, mine comes from Zombie Joe saying, "We've all done it. You're playing a game and you go to save it, and then once it's done saving, you save your game again for good measure." So, GVG crew, what other bad habits do you have in games? And well, honestly, you're kind of picking up on the big one, especially RPG players. You save, you finish, you're getting ready to end, but you also looked at other dialogues. You're like, wait a second, did I save? I better double check and save again. We've all done that. Absolutely. The other one, though, for me that I know is a bad habit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have two paths. Which way do I go?
Oh,
All right, I'm going to go this way.
mm-hmm.
Oh, this is looking like it's like furthering the story. I don't want to go that way. I want to check out the side content first. I'm going to go back. I'm going to backtrack, go down the other path. And then that path ends up actually being the progress. And you're like, no, but
Yeah.
that's the other big example I can think of where it's just like, I want to explore everything before heading toward towards the main path. That's why games that tell me where story content is going to continue, thank you, I'm going to go the other way. So I'm very appreciative when that happens.
Is that a bad habit though, or is that just more being thorough? Because I do the same thing, but I've never really looked at it
Is
as
it
a bad habit.
to say? Is it a bad habit to save twice? Because you're
Yeah,
not hurting anything.
I don't think. Yeah, it's like I'm not sure if I'd even consider it more maybe like a idiosyncrasy, but like not a bad habit necessarily. Because I do that too. As I think a lot of us probably save multiple times just because it feels safer to do that, even though there's no logic behind it, right?
Right.
And I do exactly what you just described as well. Like I will go and go out of my way to avoid main story content before I've explored everything else that I could possibly explore, just because I like to that's just kind of how I like to complete games. It's just how I compartmentalize things in my head, and I like to explore as much as I can before I progress the main story. But I never really thought about it as a bad habit. Oh,
I guess it's just
yeah,
in the same way as how they've sort of structured it. But
right.
I guess by that same idea, it's not necessarily a bad habit, but just a quirk that you find yourself doing a lot in a lot of games. So
Yeah.
again, going other ways and whatnot.
Meverse Mod in our live audience chat mentions a really good one. I don't do this anymore, but I have before, thinking and it's always with a good intention, but buying games and never playing them. I haven't done that in years.
Don't you dare call me out on that. How dare you?
Yeah.
Ban this person. I don't.
Yeah, I've definitely done that before. Not in a long time, but I have. It's always with the right intentions, but
it's
yeah.
not. So it's not me buying it, but I'll feel like oh, it's Christmas and my mom wants to hook me up with some fun stuff. So I'll say a bunch I'll say a few games and she'll pick those up and I'll get to maybe two of them.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes in.
I'm having a hard time thinking of idiosyncratic. Oh, actually, no, I'm not. Okay, this is something I do, and I bet this is. Oh, I'm already seeing it now that I'm looking at chat more. I'm seeing other people do the same thing. Yeah, like I said, it's probably fairly common in RPGs. I save items way too much. Like, oh, what if I need this elixir for the final boss or for some other? No, just use the damn thing, man. Just use the damn elixir when you need it. You'll have 25 more by the next few bosses or something.
Then you're super ready for the final boss when these things go really bad.
Exactly. I need those 99 mega elixirs just in case. Yeah, I'm really bad about that, and I'm actively trying not to do that in Octopath 2 right now, and I'm pretty proud of myself. I did an optional boss fight, which I thought I was prepared for. The danger level was 20, and my characters were all 23 to 24. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna be fine. I wasn't fine. The boss fight took like 35 minutes. I was on the back foot for most of it,
Oh my
and
God.
it was really tough, and I used a ton of consumables, and I was like, all right, let's just see if I can win. That I'm gonna just reset it after. I'll come back when I'm stronger. But then I beat it, and I was so satisfied, and I was like, well, I don't want that time to go to waste, but well, I wasted all those items. No, you'll get more items. Just save the damn game and move on. You fought a boss. It was really hard. You won. Just move on. And I did. I actually saved it, and I was like, okay, it's done. I can't get those items back. Too bad. And guess what? Like 5 hours later, I've got plenty of items again. So I'm
Yeah,
glad I did it.
yeah, that's fitting.
Yeah.
Honestly, although I will say conserving a bit did save my butt when I played Mega Man 3 this week on Game Boy because
Oh, really?
holy crap. I had I don't know if I could have beaten the final Wily phase without E-Tanks
It's a tough
because
fight. Yeah.
Punk's weapon sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, the screw crusher. Yeah, it's not a great weapon. It has a weird trajectory.
Weird trajectory and also gets knocked away like nothing.
Uh-huh. What did you think of the punk fight? Did you have any trouble with it?
It took me a few tries, but once I was like backed up enough that I could see which way he was gonna come to the other side with, I didn't
Yeah.
like. As soon as I did that, I was like, "Oh, okay, I got this."
It's a pretty simple fight. The main thing is he just does so much collision damage. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what got me is that 3 or 4 tries because I kept predicting which way he was going to go badly and
Yeah.
just getting knocked out. It's funny. The next game on the list is going to be amusing because I think it's one you've not played before.
Oh man, is it?
It's the Mega Man Monopoly essentially.
Oh no, I have played that. I
What
didn't play it a bunch,
you've
but
played. You've oh wow, you have played Wily and Light Node Rockboard. Wow.
yeah, I didn't play it very long because I'm not a big board game guy. But I played it just to play it, just to say that I have played
Is
it. You know.
is it more Monopoly or more Fortune Street? Because I have no idea what I'm in for. I don't even know what like I got nothing.
I really didn't play it for very long, from what I recall, and I didn't even play it with the translation patch, so I had no idea what I was doing. But
Oh
from what I
no.
recall, it was more Fortune Street-esque, I think.
Okay. Yeah,
I
I
think
have
so.
the translation patch. I need it because I'm going to be playing this thing through
Oh,
it
definitely.
for a
Yeah.
while. So I need to know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I have to call out this other habit, and this probably is actually a bad habit because it's something I do too. BlazeStar25 in our live audience chat said, mine is when some of the map is grayed out, I have to go and walk over that spot to fill it in, even if I know I won't get anything out of it. Guilty as charged. I hate that I do that, and I did it so much in FF7 Rebirth, and it probably added way too much time out of my playtime. But I can't. I gotta fill it in.
But man, is it nice to have that complete map?
It feels so good. And I even did it. Well, no, I can't talk about that because you haven't gotten there yet. So, but yes, I filled in.
Bit, so.
I filled in every map, including the ones later on that get even bigger. So I know exactly how you feel. What Taniac says, dude, yes.
I'm playing Endless Ocean Blue World on stream, and they have this thing where if you fill out a map, you get extra money for buying other stuff. Like, damn it, don't do that to me. Don't incentivize me to fill out the map because now I'm just gonna do it.
Well, that's what was so quote unquote bad about Xenoblade as well. Like with Xenoblade 3, you're incentivized to do it because if you find all the landmarks, it fills everything in for you. And so it completes your map. And so it's like, so I wanted to do that anyway because I love exploring and Xenoblade's amazing, but that's just one more reason I have to find every last landmark just to see all that gray filled in. It's such a bad habit.
It really is.
It's funny. I didn't think I was going to have too good an answer for this one, but I was wrong.
It's those Metroidvanias, man. That instilled the habit in me.
Definitely. Well, thank you for that super fun topic, Zombie Joe. And then mine this week comes from Hendrix Trog, and it's topical. I was telling everyone earlier, but when we started about how freaking hot it is over here. In this blistering hot summer, it's sometimes nice to think of ice cold places. With that in mind, what's your favorite ice cold area in a video game? And joke's on you, because I think about ice cold places all the time because I love cold weather and I live in LA. So I have a few answers for this. I don't know if I have like a single favorite, I think, but I definitely have quite a few that I really like. If I had to pick what's probably closest to a single favorite, it might might be Freezeezy Peak from Banjo-Kazooie. I just love how jolly that area feels, and it feels cold, and the snowman or the snowmen are lobbing snowballs at you the whole time, and with that creepy laugh. But it's just such a jolly level, and you're flying, and it feels cold and windy, and it feels like the crescendo of that game too. It feels like this is the game saying, "Yeah, this is like the part that you're gonna love. Like this is we're showing off our best, putting our best foot forward with this level, and everything after is great. Everything before is great, but Freeze Easy Peak to me feels like the peak of that game, and it's just such a
I was
everything
waiting
comes
for it.
together. Yeah, everything just really comes together in that level for me in that game, and I just really like it. Miiverse modded. This isn't on my list, but good one. Phendrana Drifts from Metroid Prime. That's a really good one. Another one that's kind of a deeper cut that comes to mind though is Flanoir from Tales of Symphonia. For some reason, something about that town. It's like it's that game's ice town,
I
snow
mean,
town.
it also
Mm,
has like one of the coziest scenes in the game, so I think that
it
also
does.
helps it a lot.
Yeah, something about that town always stuck out to me. And I think a lot of it is the music. It just feels very cozy, like holiday snuggly weather, and it just feels very cozy, very socked in and remote and cold and just I always listen to that song during the holidays because it just kind of makes me feel good. What Taniac knows, I actually mentioned this to Daniel before we started because I needed him to remind me of the town's name. And so thank you for doing that, Daniel. But I had to mention that. Another more recent mainstream example that comes to mind, though, is Hebra, just the Hebra region in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. Like there were multiple times in both those games where I just made my way to the coldest, highest peak I could find and just pan the camera, put my headphones on, just pan the camera, listen to the snow, listen to the wind, and just imagine that I was Link there in that cold, cold mountainous region. And I just really loved everything about Hebra, especially at like later on in the day at twilight when the sky is like really getting dark and it just feels so cold. And I just love the Hebra region. And then the last one I'll mention is Winters from Earthbound. Always loved that
Mm.
area in Earthbound. And I guess, well, I said last one, but also this is kind of a sister game, Snowden from Undertale. They're both, really appealing in very similar ways because Earthbound and Undertale are very similar aesthetically. So those are some of my favorite cold regions. But if I had to pick one, it's probably Freeze Peak.
That makes sense. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think like I like cold regions, but I'm trying to think of one that like really stands out for me as like a favorite. So something that just like I guess gives me that cozy feel. Obviously, you have you've said a lot of them, but going, I don't know why it's more stressful, I guess, than I think. But it's for some reason I still really enjoy it. But the ice worlds from Super Mario Brothers 2. I don't know why I
Oh,
go back
yeah.
to that, but like they have that sort of wintry feel, and I guess it also helped and make me feel like kind of badass
Uh
because
huh.
you're on this slip slidey place. You got those skater snow guys coming at you, the fly guys coming at you, and I always felt so cool. Forgive the pun. As a kid, when you're running forward and you see them coming, but you have enough momentum that you duck under the fly guys, jump over the sliding guys, duck, jump,
Yeah.
like really just work your way in between them, and it's just like, oh, this is neat. I like this. And then you have those settings where they're like the whales are there. You can ride on their spouts. Like it's dangerous and it's
Yeah.
not exactly cozy vibes or anything like that. But it's I don't know. It's kind of nice. It's just it sticks out to me quite a bit. Um, and then I see people mentioning a bunch of like Mega Man snow areas. Christmas Nights is a really good one. Claxon.
Christmas Nights
Um,
is great. I was thinking back at all
the
the Mega Man stages. Yeah.
the snow here I got one for you that nobody mentioned. The snow town from Mega Man Legends 2. I forget what it's called, but it's
Oh, good
like
one.
the first town you go to, but
Yeah.
it's also like a ton of fun. Just a nice
It's
town.
it's called Kalinka,
Like yeah.
which is a reference to Dr. Kosak's daughter.
I was just as soon as you said it, it's like, wait a second, really? Because I
Yeah.
didn't realize It wasn't until now I realized that was a reference, but it's been a while since I've replayed Legends 2, but that's
Yeah.
funny.
At least I think it's Kalinga. That might be a different one. I'm not sure. But
I
yeah,
don't know,
there is
but
a
it
town
makes
called
sense.
Kalinga. Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
says Tantal. Tantal, of course, is another great one.
Ice Cap Zone from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Press Garden Act 2 is another really good one from Sonic Mania.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
I have to say, I have been unintentionally called out. I actually did not remember to mention the one that actually probably is my favorite, even above and beyond Freeze Easy Peak. And I can't believe I didn't think about this because it's from my number 2 favorite game of all time. But as Tuxping mentions, Kamui from Okami. It's such a great late game area, and I love everything about Kamui, not just the main Kamui area, but Wepkir Village and also the tower where the dungeon where you fight Lechku and Nechku. Like everything about that it's all snowy, it's all cold, and it feels like you're really in the far reaches of the world too. It feels like you've traveled a long way to get there. And I can't believe I forgot Kamui, but that probably is actually my number 1. And thank you for keeping me honest, Tuxping. I remember it. All right, I appreciate it.
It's funny how certain ones can just slip your mind a bit.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And then a whole separate question could be asked about just the Mega Man settings, snow settings. There's so many, but yeah, I just want to go to any of these places right now because it's so hot. Although I have checked out the weather in Cologne for the next week, and it's apparently going to be a little cooler there, like in the 70s. Low 80s rather than the 90s here, so I'm going to have a bit of a reprieve, I think.
We take those.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a fun topic. Thank you so much for that, Hendrix Trog, and allowing me to go just imagine that I'm in a much colder place than I actually am right now. And that really does bring us to the end, I think, of episode 112 of the GVGcast. So thank you so much, as always, everyone, for being here with us. You know, we love welcoming the weekend with you all and doing this almost every Friday. I will not be on the show for the next 2 weeks, obviously, because I will be at Gamescom and then PAX West. So hopefully, Derek, some combination of you, Brandon, and Daniel can hopefully do the show for the next couple of weeks. But either way, I will be back for episode 115. So, yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
I'm going to have a prediction that we might not be able to do it while you guys are at PAX East because...
Think so?
It has well, I guess if it's me and Brandon. We'll see.
Yeah, if it's you, yeah. So we'll see.
It has to be me and Brandon, but...
Yeah.
We'll see
and if
Brandon's schedule is...
Yeah.
Trust me, it's like... With Ella being as old as she is, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, and if Daniel decides his voice is feeling better, I know he'll feel like doing it, but of course, no pressure to him. We want him to feel completely better before he's back. But regardless, if we do miss the next couple of weeks, hopefully we don't, but if we do, we'll definitely be back once I'm back home. So don't worry about that. The show will go on, whether it's 2 weeks from now or while I'm gone. So... thank you so much, everybody. As always, we have to give a special shout out to all of our patrons at the producer tier and above for helping to make everything we do happen here. You really do help us keep the lights on, so thank you so much. And as always, we have to give an extra special shout out to all of our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those fine, amazing, incredible folks include Brandon Bovia, Fangs, Z Patty, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman 23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, The D-Pad, Blake, Joy Content, Angel Martinez, Vedran, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Azran127, Black King, Geeky Griffin, Wataniac, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Andrew Medeiros, Darchi, Becca, Esax08, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber CPHT, Too Much Spaghetti, Bane 400, Ascaron 809, Ryaner, Benji Bearpup, The Game Orb, Super Gamer Dude 101, Rosa Pardo Bowling, hi Steve's mom, Darksteel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, Derek, Colin, Blaystar 25, Twilord, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Keel, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Brainchild, Jim Wakeland, Aramis Baramis, Lord Metarex, Blaze Collard, Eric, Cat Evie Person 5, Mega Beatman True Blue Reviews, Ryan Hanley, Somnia, The Game Jamie, Zombie Joe, and last but never least, Marathon Max. Thank you all so much, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next time for episode 113. Until then, good night and good vibes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.